Did you enjoy Hell House LLC? You know, the original one, the one that we talked about earlier on this channel? Well, today we're going to be talking about the finale, and we're going to try and keep it spoiler free. We're going to be diving into Hell House LLC Lineage. You know, the movie that traded all of that found footage scariness for polished exposition and pretty much just lore overload. Welcome back to Loot, Lore, and Lights. My name is Adam, and this is where we dive into gaming, books, movies, and TV. Today, we're talking about Hell House LLC Lineage. We're going to keep it spoiler-free, but just for those who are more interested in scores, I'm going to let you know, very disappointed. Lineage ditched the found footage charm that made the original Hell House LLC so unnerving. So instead of you having this raw dread from following the person holding the camera, they go more towards a traditional narrative, and it's crammed with just lore dump and clunky exposition. The result is basically like a bloated mythos that feels more like homework rather than it does horror. The characters, it does bring back the girl from Hell House LLC, Lake of Fire, the third one, and honestly, not just the main character, but all characters. They don't really register as human. They seem like they're just reciting different franchise backstory. So it is something that you're going to want to have knowledge of the previous movies when you go into this one. It's not something that you could just pick up and understand. And even if you have seen them, there's still going to be a lot of callbacks that you're going to have to try and pay attention to and catch. There's very little suspense, and whenever it does try to land a scare, it pretty much undercuts itself with some over explanation or some jump scare cliche. But the problem is it doesn't work here. It's almost like he's trying to take, when I say he, I mean the director, Stephen Cognetti. It's almost like he's trying to take what worked in found footage and put it in a traditional narrative, and it just does not work. Pacing, that was another major issue. There were lengthy setups, and they drag through. You know, like you'll see somebody going down a corridor real slowly. There's a lot of just dialogue, just talking that doesn't really need to happen. By the time that pretty much anything unsettling happens, you're probably looking at your watch wondering how far into the movie are you and is it almost over? I think even diehard fans of the Abaddon Hotel saga, myself included, we're going to be left wanting more. Like something similar to the scarier entries in the found footage that we know Hell House to be. Altogether, it feels like a franchise finale that forgot what made the franchise scary. You know, the setting, which should have been dripping with atmosphere, it almost just feels underused. It's like they start to try to build tension, but then they just never do, and it just kind of levels off and nothing ever happens with it. Again, it feels like they're trying to go so deep into callbacks into the mythology or the lore that they completely forgot what made Hell House so good in the first place. You know, and expanding lore, it can be exciting, but honestly, Lineage just felt like it was trying to stitch together a horror universe without remembering anything that really came before, unless they over-explained everything to you that they were about to talk about or show you. To me, Hell House Lineage is a missed opportunity. It is a lore-heavy entry that, again, it forgets to be scary. If you're a franchise completionist, you know, I definitely think you should watch it. You might find value in the connective tissue, but if you're here for something scary, something kind of chilling, you're better off rewatching the originals instead. I know that whenever my daughter and I went and watched it in the movies, we both kind of left feeling like that was the end. I mean, even the ending was terrible. Like, without spoiling anything, it was an awful ending. And as we walked away from the theater, we were like excited. So we're like, hey, we got to watch a Hell House movie. But then it's like, the further you get out from that, you know, just an hour after seeing the movie, you're like, that movie wasn't very good. You know, it just seems like they forgot what they were trying to be, and I really hated that for this one. If this is truly the last Hell House movie, I do think Stephen Cognetti said it's going to be the last one he does, but if it is truly the last Hell House movie that's out there, this is a terrible ending. I would advise you, if you have only watched up to Carmichael Manor, to stop there. Don't watch this one. It's going to ruin the series for you. That's my opinion. If there ends up being another one, then yeah, you're going to have to watch it probably because of the way that the ending happened. I'll just say it was a cliffhanger ending that was very poorly done to me. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. That's it for today's Descent. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've seen Lineage, did it haunt you or did it just leave you lost in the dark? If you do leave a comment, we're going to start reading some of the comments on the upcoming episodes. And until then, we're getting closer to Halloween, so expect more horror movies, horror games, and possibly even some of the books that we've been going over reading. I'm going to try and have some guests on. So yeah, signal is weak, but the stories are strong. Take care.